Before my wife and I were married, and then for a while after we were married, we were both youth ministers in San Diego. I was at a Methodist church in La Jolla, and she was at a Presbyterian church in Rancho La Costa. And I distinctly recall this program that my wife, Jen, had created, where youth were invited to look at cut-out faces that she had put on a poster board. I think there were about 35 faces, and they were invited, the youth were invited to decide by appearances only which person they thought was the wisest, and then which person they thought would be the funniest, and then which person they would choose to sit by in math class. There were other questions than that, but all of that was on appearances only, and then the youth and the group listened to a song by the country western singer Colin Ray. And some of you may recall this song from some time ago. The lyrics are these: born with a habit of drug use, she couldn't help what her mama used. It wasn't like she got to choose. Now she's laying there, all alone. Got a monkey on her back. Nurses say they never saw a smile like that. Doctor says she might stand a chance if somebody takes her home. What if Jesus comes back like that? 2 months early and hooked on crack. Will we let him in or turn our back? What if Jesus comes back like that? Oh, what if Jesus comes back like that? The lyrics are certainly not as idyllic as the carols that we're singing this evening, nor as idyllic as the wonderful living nativity that we recreated here over the last 2 nights on Sunday and Monday. But the lyrics seem that they might be closer to the actual events surrounding Jesus' birth. The Christ child, born homeless, behind a seedy hotel, the offspring of a teenage mother. I think sociologists can easily predict the odds that this no-count urchin will end up on death row. What she did. After his lowly birth and his crucifixion, this second-class citizen becomes known as Jesus of Nazareth. That designation of Nazareth is like saying Jesus of the slums, or Jesus of the projects, or Jesus from the east side. It indicates his suspicious birth because Jewish custom would dictate the designation would be Jesus, son of Joseph, not Jesus of Nazareth. Well, when he begins his ministry, this 30-year-old Jesus from the ghetto and of questionable parentage resembles a character in J.R.R. Tolkien's trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, the character Aragorn. Now, I loved reading these books when I was in junior high, and I saved up money from my paper route, and I got the 1-volume boxed set of The Lord of the Rings. But I want to let you know, if you don't already, that the 25th anniversary viewing of all 3 extended movies of The Lord of the Rings is coming to theaters in January. So if you have 12 to 14 hours to spare, you can watch all the movies. This evening's service will be a bit shorter. But back to the character of Aragorn, or Strider, as he is introduced in the first book and in the first movie. He is something of a mess. Long, greasy hair, stubble-laden face, skin covered with dirt and grime, streaked with sweat from the exertion of a long journey. When we first meet him, Aragorn seems to belong in a homeless shelter, not on a throne. And yet, we learn, Aragorn is actually heir to Middle-earth's throne of men. Much as God comes to earth in Jesus to seek sovereignty over the hearts of humankind. I think it's hubris to think that we will be able to recognize the way, the manner, the attire of our biblically anticipated king whenever he returns. And so Tolkien's character, Aragorn, is another reminder that the one who bears the burden of bringing salvation, of standing against the overwhelming forces of evil, will most likely be both unrecognizable and unwelcome. Just as the first time, and though the heavens will surely rejoice, I doubt any earthly fanfare will herald the return of our King. So the Christmas story invites us and beckons us to a vigilance, to look for the Christ in unexpected ways. And it's not a vigilance like Jesus is coming, look busy. No. We are called to a hope-filled, a preparatory, an anticipatory vigilance that tingles our skin and makes our hairs stand up. Could this person that is taking our order at the burger joint, or that person that we're holding the door for at the post office, or even that relative that we're welcoming into Christmas dinner with us, could they be, as the lyrics of Colin Ray's song say, Jesus, come back like that? Christmas asserts, friends, that stranger things, that manger things have happened. Reversing our preconceptions of the weird and wonderful way in which God may come again. In our home, we have a sort of strange piece of art that hangs on our walls. I know you can't really see it from there, but you can kind of get a picture. It's indescript. And I got permission. It's going to be on the cover of our bulletin next Sunday, so you can see it a little bit better. But the words around the edge, this is some of you might be familiar with Story People. Brian Andres is the artist. And the words around the edge of the illustration say this: one time on Hollywood Boulevard, I saw a young girl with a baby. It was a crisp winter morning, and her hair shone dark purple in the sun. She was panhandling outside the Holiday Inn, and the door clerk came out and told her to be on her way. And I wondered if anyone would recognize the Christ child if they happened to meet. I remember thinking, it's not like there are any published pictures. And purple seemed like a good color for the Madonna. And so I gave her $1, just in case. Just in case. Just in case Jesus comes back like that. Just in case the return of the King happens to resemble the birth that we've gathered here tonight to remember and celebrate on this, the holiest and most sublime of nights. This night where we will sing, joy to the world. Let earth receive her King. Amen.